Okay, so you guys have really sent in some fascinating stuff about faith leading to courage and trust and peace.
Hmm.
And it's really got me thinking, in this crazy world, how can we tap into those things?
Yeah.
How do we actually get there?
It's a question I think we all wrestle with, right? How
Yeah.
do we find that courage and that trust and that peace that we're all longing for?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
we're gonna dive deep
Okay.
into some stories and teachings from the Bible
All right.
to see what kind of timeless wisdom they offer us.
Excellent.
Um, and our sources today focus on stories and teachings from the Bible.
Okay.
And I'm really curious
Yeah.
to see how they can guide us toward that courage,
Hmm.
that trust and peace.
Absolutely.
So where should we begin?
Well, I think a natural starting point is courage.
Okay.
The story of Daniel in the lion's den
Yeah.
is such a powerful example of how faith can fuel incredible bravery,
Yeah.
even in the face of impossible odds.
It's such a vivid image.
Yeah.
Isn't it being thrown into this den of lions?
Right.
Certain death seems inevitable,
Mm-hmm.
but his faith doesn't waver.
It doesn't.
It's not just blind faith, though, right?
Right.
It's a deep, unwavering belief in something larger than himself
Absolutely.
that gives him that courage.
Yeah, and that conviction that even if the worst should happen,
Right.
he's anchored to something greater.
Yeah.
And that can be a source of strength in any situation.
Right.
You know, whether we're facing literal lions or the metaphorical ones we face every day in our lives.
That's a great point. And it makes me think of another figure who faced impossible odds,
Yeah.
Esther,
Yes.
who risked her life
Yes,
to save her people,
absolutely.
driven by her faith in divine providence.
You know what's interesting about her story is it highlights that courage isn't the absence of fear.
Right.
It's acting in spite of it.
Right.
And especially when fueled by a deep belief in a cause.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know for certain that she would succeed,
Right.
but she trusted in a power beyond herself to guide her actions.
That's a powerful lesson.
Mm.
It's about finding that inner strength to act even when you're afraid,
Mm-hmm.
because you believe in something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I love that.
And it reminds me of another story where trust plays a central role.
Okay.
Joseph's journey into Egypt.
Oh, yeah,
He went through betrayal hardship
absolutely.
and yet ultimately rose to a position of leadership.
It's a testament to trusting in a larger plan, even when we can't see the full picture. It's about surrendering to divine timing,
Yeah.
understanding that even difficult experiences can serve a purpose.
And he never loses sight of that trust,
He doesn't.
even when he's facing immense suffering.
It's incredible.
Yeah. It's like he understands that those hardships, those trials are shaping him
Yeah.
for something greater.
Preparing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not always easy to maintain that trust, is it?
No,
Especially when things feel so bleak.
absolutely not.
You know?
It requires a conscious effort to shift our perspective, to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth.
Right.
And sometimes to surrender our need for control
Yeah.
and have faith in a power beyond our immediate understanding.
And speaking of surrendering control, the story of Gideon's victory
Oh, yeah.
with a small army really showcases that reliance
Yeah.
on divine guidance
Right.
over human strength.
It's remarkable how he wins against all odds.
Yeah.
Gideon's story really challenges us to examine where we place our trust.
Okay.
Do we rely solely on our own abilities?
Right.
Or do we acknowledge a power greater than ourselves
Yeah.
that can guide and support us?
And it's a reminder that sometimes letting go of our need to control everything can lead to unexpected victories.
Absolutely.
It's a humbling thought, realizing that sometimes our own strength isn't enough.
Right.
And that brings us to the idea of peace,
Yes.
a peace that surpasses understanding.
Such a beautiful concept.
And the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego
Yes.
facing the fiery furnace
Oh my God.
is a perfect illustration of this.
It really is.
I mean, even when staring death in the face, their unwavering faith gave them a profound inner peace.
it's incredible.
They accepted God's will, and in that surrender, they found a serenity that transcended their circumstances.
You know, it's easy to talk about these things in theory,
Right?
but to see it lived out in such a dramatic way,
Yeah.
it's really inspiring.
I'm struck by their unwavering faith,
Mhm.
their acceptance of what might come.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think, how can we cultivate that kind of peace in our own lives?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Well, the source we're looking at suggests starting with daily practices like prayer and reading scripture.
Okay.
You know, these help us internalize the principles and promises that form the foundation of faith.
Mm.
which can then foster that inner peace.
So it's about connecting with something larger than ourselves
Yeah.
consistently
Yes,
to build that foundation.
exactly.
And the source also mentions taking action based on faith,
Yes.
even in small ways.
Absolutely. Every time we act on our faith, no matter how small the action,
Right.
it strengthens that connection and deepens our trust.
Mm-hmm.
It's a continuous cycle of learning, applying, and experiencing the power of faith in our lives. Like Joshua marching around Jericho.
Yeah.
Sometimes the act of faith itself reinforces the belief.
It's about taking those leaps of faith,
Yes.
even when they seem illogical,
I can feel that way.
and seeing where they lead.
Yeah.
And one more thing that stood out to me was the source's emphasis on experiencing God's presence
Yeah.
as a way to transform fear into peace.
You know, this resonates with so many people's experiences.
Mm.
When we feel connected to the divine,
Yeah.
a profound sense of peace washes over us.
Like Paul's words in Philippians,
Absolutely.
where he talks about inviting God's peace through prayer and thanksgiving.
Beautiful.
So we've seen how faith can fuel courage, enable us to trust in a greater plan, and cultivate a peace that goes beyond our understanding.
Yes.
It's about finding that inner strength, that connection to something larger than ourselves,
Absolutely.
to navigate life's challenges.
To face the storms.
And we've explored some practical steps for nurturing that faith.
Yeah.
Daily prayer, engaging with Scripture, taking action based on our beliefs.
It's a journey of growth and discovery.
It really is. And
Yeah.
as we go about our day, what if we view challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to deepen our faith
Yeah.
and experience the strength and peace it offers? Something to think about.
Indeed.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive,
It's been a pleasure.
and we'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.